Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30. It is Tuesday, May 6th, and time to wrap it up. So far, we had reversed the sell-off. I mean, the little sell-off selling we had going on this morning. Done one more probe in the morning, and then they kind of retraced that. We've been holding kind of steadily here, right at the 56.50s right now. So kind of in a holding pattern, seems like. We're in the Fed meeting is ongoing. This little pop right there had to do with Trump saying something in the Oval Office with a Carney guy. So that was like a reaction to that. And then he has immediately reversed back to the to value again, to the mean. And we got a little bit of weakness in the afternoon, and then a little retracement, and not much really to go to work with there. But you can see we are definitely the reverse retest of the 5600 never quite happened. We got close to it, but not quite, and we backed off, and now we're holding it as there. So I would probably say that we cut off the selling as well. I mean, if tomorrow is an inside day, we're probably in stage 3 on that profile. So that's kind of where I think we are right now. So I would start off range bound, looking to sell strength up to that 56.75s. Look to buy weakness down to the, I'm going to put an edge down here at the 56.05s as well. But down to this support there at 56.15 and 56.05s. Rotations back up. And then we'll see how this is going to go. For tomorrow is a Fed announcement day. So we get the Fed meeting. What do we have? Tomorrow's news, we have mortgage apps, the oil report, and then we had a Fed announcement that too. So that's kind of the main thing for tomorrow. Still in that meeting, and I think everything's going to be staying in a holding pattern since. So no trades on the ES. I did take one more trade on I think one trade on the NASDAQ actually, a little bit later in the session here. I was on this is a NASDAQ, so I'm watching this whole thing. This is a big reaction, and looks like they were starting to sell off, heading back below that volume weighted mean. Slow grind, little rotation, they start squeezing it. And I kind of bought when it looks like you want to hop on a go with trade on the short side. I kind of did the reverse and bought one, and managed to get in on a pretty beautiful little snapback trade. And this little trade there that's worth $100. So a pretty quick $100 trade. I'll take it anytime, you know. And that was actually because you had this big run up here, you're going sideways, 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 big reaction there, and got reversed. And then you can see how they start taking out support. They started trading lower. And here is where you usually hop on the short side if you do a go with type of trade. I'm not quite buying it, so I'm thinking that they're probably going to reverse back to the mean. So I got in long, expected to repair it back down to the midpoint, not worse than that. And so I got out of that thing when I could have sat in that longer, would have been a shitty trade if I did that. But so I took my profit when I had my $100 on that thing, and I have not re-engaged it since. So that's kind of where we are. If I had, they would have been, I mean, difficult to because they ran it right back down again. So if you sat in that trade without shaking you out, that's a break-even trade. It would have been kind of a terrible scenario. And then they took it a little bit lower. So I did not re-engage again. When they started taking it lower, I figured that, okay, maybe they really are going to try to take it lower then. So I didn't do much with it. But then they kind of retraced back up again. And so far we're kind of in a holding pattern. It looks like we're getting a little bit late in the day strength there. So that's always a good sign. If you get strength late in the day, it's always a positive sign, and we'll take that any time of the week. So, but I'm starting off range bound on the NASDAQ. Same as the ES, looking to sell strength up to the 20,030s, buy weakness down to the 760s. And then let's see if they start trending above that 20,030s. I'm going to stay on the long side. And I would say below the this area, I'm going to adjust this edge up to the 840s. And below that 840 area, I'm going to be leaning towards the short side. On the bond side of things, we're not doing much. We on the 10-year auction kicked in, and we had a pretty good move to the upside. And by the way, this retracement little pop we had right there at 2 o'clock, this one right there, and I took my trade. That was a reaction on the bond trade on the 10-year auction. I say part of that. And because they had a big reaction on the bond market as well. So they repriced this right back up again to the 1420s, and then that's where they've been staying. So I would say still bond market is still range bound. That's trading in that same range. So I would start off the same way as before. Sell up to the 115, buy down to the 114s. And then finally, oil and gold. Trade gold from the long side. They are definitely on freaking fire, melting up. That's for sure. So we had a pretty good move in the overnight, and they didn't disappoint in the day session. They kept going. and we are solidly on our way higher. So we are in the move out of the middle to the upside, and at this point, the next level of resistance is going to be up here at the 3440s. So I'm going to be expecting the overnight to make another leg higher. So we'll see where they end up closing, but if they pull back, maybe try to get long against that 3405, 3400 to 3405 area for the rotations back up again. Let's see how far they can take it. So, but the gold, big move out of the middle to the upside, and there you have it. That's no joke at all. So they are heading higher in a big way. We'll trade gold from the long side. No trades on gold for me today. It's been too volatile. It is freaking volatile. You had to be really on top. And you see these rotations, they are not they are not easy to deal with. Some of these bars are like 23 down to the 20s at 30, 40 ticks each bar here. So it's pretty big bars, and it just makes it difficult to work this. Good trade location is the only way you can deal with this, so you have to be prepared to step in front of it at when it feels the least comfortable. You know what I mean? And then finally, let me see, I'm gonna fold this together again. And then, of course, oil to the upside, that retracing a bit. They still haven't quite moved in a big way to the upside. They're still holding this resistance area. So it could be a reverse retest, which is failing right now. We'll see if they can get up above that 5950s. If so, we'll stay on the long side. But if they close below that 5950 area, I would maybe the edge at 58 to 60, this upper edge. If they close below that, I would start off range bound. If they close below the 5890s, then I would be probably looking for a retracement trade, right? They'd back down into this lower area. So we'll see. If they can close above 5875, probably start off range bound. Well, no, sorry, the 5880 to 90. If they can close above that three-letter edge, probably stay range bound, and below it looking for that retracement trade. So far, just one trade that was on the Nasdaq, and one and done, and we'll take that anytime. And let's see if they can get some strength out of this. Right now, they're trying to take it higher, but it's just sloppy. So they just keeps knocking it down. So we'll see. We're getting into that. Watch that 10 minutes before the end of the day at 12:50, or maybe like 3:50 Eastern. Then you'll see. We'll see if there's going to be some buying interest, or they're going to try to sell into the close. Alrighty, guys, we'll wrap it there. So I'll see you back in the morning. You have a good evening. Later.